December 31st, 2007, a bank manager arrives at work after a long holiday weekend. Nothing seems unusual. The doors are locked, the windows are intact, the alarm has not gone off. In fact, everything looks so normal that nobody suspects they are about to discover one of the biggest crimes in the Indian history. The manager unlocks the bank and walks inside. A few employees arrive behind him. Routine conversation begins. Someone talks about New Year plans, someone else complaining about the holiday rush. Just another ordinary morning. Then the manager walked toward the strong room. He unlocked the door, take a step inside and freeze. The lockers have been broken open, gold is missing, cash is missing, almost the entire vault has been emptied. Around 80 kg of gold, 25 lakh rupees in cash, worth roughly 800 crore rupees at that time, more than 110 crore rupees in today's value gone. No broken front entrance, no armed robbery, no witnesses, no security guard tie up in a chair. Nothing. It is as if the gold simply vanished. Now, gold has many qualities. It's valuable, it's beautiful, it's durable, but one thing gold can't do, it disappear by itself. Someone took it. The question was how? And the question would lead investigators to a fake businessman, a Bollywood movie, a restaurant renovation, and one of the most creative criminal plans India had ever seen. This is the story of Chelembra bank robbery, India's biggest bank heist, and the criminal who almost got away with it. Every major crime has a mastermind, and in this story, the man was Joseph. Now, when most people heard a word criminal, they imagined someone impulsive, someone reckless, someone who makes bad decisions quickly. Joseph was different. His decisions were still bad, but they were carefully planned bad decisions. He already had a long criminal history, more than a dozen thief cases, multiple arrests, and perhaps more impressively, 2 successful jail escapes, which is the kind of achievement that looks terrible on resume but impressive in a police file. Joseph was not a particularly educated, he was not rich, he was not powerful, but he possessed something dangerous: patience. He understood something many criminals don't. Stealing is not the hard part, the planning is. And one day, while watching the Bollywood movie Dhoom, Joseph saw something that changed everything. In one scene, thieves enter a building from the above. Most viewers watch the scene and enjoy the action. Joseph watched the scene and started taking mental notes. Some people watch movies for entertainment. Joseph apparently watched them for a professional development. A question formed in his mind: what if I would do something similar? The simple question would eventually lead to India's largest bank robbery. Joseph began searching for a bank, not just any bank, the right bank. A bank with weaknesses, a bank where security relied more on luck than planning. Eventually, he found it. The South Malabar Grameen Bank in Chelembra, Kerala. At first glance, it looked ordinary, but Joseph noticed 2 important things. First, there was no night security guard. Second, the bank was located on the 2nd floor of a building. Directly underneath it was a struggling restaurant called Suhaima. For most people, this information means absolutely nothing. For Joseph, it was everything, because suddenly a question was not how do I enter a bank, a question became how do I enter the restaurant, and entering a restaurant is much easier than entering a bank, especially if you rent it. Joseph approached the restaurant owners, but he did not introduce himself as Joseph. Instead, he used a fake identity. A man named Babu, friendly, polite, interested in business, a perfect tenant. He told the owners he wanted to renovate the restaurant and reopen it soon. The story sounds believable. The restaurant was not doing well, the owner wanted a tenant, everybody was happy, nobody was suspicious. And that's what made the plan brilliant. The greatest tricks are often the simplest. Joseph was not sneaking into the building, it was not hiding. He was not avoiding attention, instead he was giving himself permission to be there, day after day, week after week, with complete legitimacy. If neighbors saw construction equipment, they would not be suspicious. If workers heard drilling sounds, they would assume renovation were happening. Everything looked normal, which is exactly what Joseph wanted. For the next several weeks, Joseph became obsessed, not with stealing, with measuring. He studied the building carefully: distance, wall thickness, floor layout, structural position. The strong room had to be located preciously. Imagine drilling through a ceiling only to discover you were entering a bathroom. That would be embarrassing, so also extreme unprofitable. So Joseph measured everything again and again. Every calculation mattered. The more investigators later studied the crime, the more surprises they became. This was not random, this was not luck, this was preparation. Joseph assembled a small team, Saibu, Radhakrishnan, Kankeshwari. Each person had a role. Together they gathered equipment, drilling machines, gas cutters, marble cutters, heavy-duty tools capable of cutting concrete and steel. Slowly the plan moved from imagination to reality. Joseph chose December 29, 2007, and this chosen was not accidental, it was strategic. December 29th was a Saturday. The next day was Sunday, meaning the bank would remain closed. That alone provides extra time. But there was something even better, a nearby temple inauguration celebration. The area was full of noise, music, crowds, fireworks, firecrackers exploding constantly. To most residents, it was a celebration. To Joseph, it was a free soundproofing. The timing was perfect. As darkness fell, the team entered the restaurant, the operation began. Machines started cutting, concrete started cracking, dust filled the room. Hour after hour, they worked, slowly creating a hole through the ceiling. Then came the moment of truth. Had Joseph calculated correctly? Had month of planning been worth it? The answer arrived with a shower of dust and broken concrete. The hole opened directly into the bank's strong room, exactly where he wanted. Not close, not approximate, exactly month of planning had paid off. Joseph climbed through the opening. For the first time, he stood inside the bank vault. No alarm, no guards, no residents, just row of lockers waiting. Using gas cutters, he broke open lockers after lockers. Gold jewelry poured out, necklaces, bracelets, bangles, valuable items collected over years. Everything went into bags. Cash followed. 4 large sacks were eventually filled. At that moment, Joseph had achieved something remarkable. He had entered a bank vault without opening a single bank door. But before leaving, he made one final move, a move that would confuse investigators for a week. Joseph wanted police to look in the wrong direction, so he left behind a message, Jai Mao. Right in Malayalam, the message appeared to support Maoist extremists. It was a clear distraction. And it worked. Police immediately considered the possibility of Naxalite operation. The theory seemed reasonable. Professional execution, no fingerprint, political slogan, everything appeared connected. Investigators spent valuable time exploring that angle. Meanwhile, Joseph enjoyed his freedom. That fake clue had done its job, at least temporarily. The investigation was led by SPP Vijayan, an experienced officer, and the more he examined the crime, the less the Maoist theory made sense. Experts were consulted. Their response was interesting. Real Maoists generally don't leave messages like this after operation. The slogan felt artificial, manufactured, like a criminal trying to hide. And when someone tries to hide, it usually means they are hiding something. The investigation changed direction. The Maoist theory was pushed aside. Now, investigators needed real evidence that when technology entered the store. Today, analyzing mobile phone records sounds normal. In 2007, it was still relevantly advanced. Investigators collected mobile tower dump data, thousands of phone numbers, thousands of connections, most belonged to innocent people. But one number stood out. One owner was listed as VT Joseph. Police dug deeper and things became interesting. The same man appeared under different identities: Joseph, Babu, Johnson. Different names, same person. The web of lies started falling apart piece by piece. The mastermind was finally becoming visible. Investigators then discovered another clue. Joseph's wife Anita was receiving treatment at Baby Memorial Hospital. Police quickly monitored the location. They waited. Then on February 27, 2008, Joseph appeared. He probably believed he was safe. After all, his robbery had been nearly perfect. But nearly perfect is not perfect. Officers moved in. Joseph was arrested 57 days after the robbery. India's most wanted bank robber was finally in custody. The investigation didn't end with the arrest. Now police needed the stolen gold. Search operation began. Properties were raided. Vehicles were seized. Assets were cracked. Eventually, investigators recovered around 73 kilograms of gold, an extraordinary amount. Much of the stolen wealth had already been converted into land, vehicle, and investment. But police managed to recover a large portion. For investigators, it was a major victory. The legal process took years. Finally, in 2013, the court delivered its judgment. Joseph and Saibu received 20-year prison sentence. Radhakrishnan received 17 years. Kankeshwari received 5 years. The story seems over. The mastermind had fallen. The stolen gold had been recovered. Justice had been served. But reality had one final twist waiting. Most people would consider India's biggest bank robbery a life-changing experience. Joseph apparently viewed it as a temporary setback. Year later, after obtaining bail, he was once again linked to another robbery, this time involving a jewelry shop, and just like that, history repeated itself. Because sometimes prison changes people and sometimes it doesn't. The Chelembra bank robbery remains one of the most fascinating crimes in Indian history. No guns, no violence, no Hollywood action scenes, just patience, planning, and observation. And one criminal who understood that the easiest way into a bank was not through the front door, it was through the floor. For a brief moment, Joseph outsmarted almost everyone, the bank, the public, even the investigators. But every crime leaves a trace. In this case, the trace was not a fingerprint, it was not DNA, it was not a witness, it was something much smaller. It a mobile phone signal, a tiny digital footprint. And that tiny clue was enough to destroy a plan that had taken months to create. Because history teaches us something interesting. The smarter a criminal becomes, the smarter the investigation becomes too. And eventually one catch up with others. In Chelembra, the investigation won, but not before creating one of the greatest robbery stories India has ever seen.
Subscribe.